Good morning, I'm Marcus Parnwell. I'm Executive Product Manager for iPlayer, and I'm responsible for iPlayer on TV devices. This morning, I want to take you through the action-packed year that we've had last year and take you into next year and where we're going to be taking iPlayer on these devices going forward. But first, a warning. There's an awful lot of pink in these slides. I know it's an early morning, and I apologize. That is the way our brand shows. So around this time last year, we launched a new version of iPlayer across all 4 of our screens. So that was a PC, a mobile, a tablet, and a TV version that we launched all on the same time at the same day. Quite stressful. Don't let me. I don't actually want to be reminded of how stressful that was. But what it did give us is it did give us the ability to serve our audiences better in 3 key ways. Whatever we do, we're always reminded that it is important that we let our audiences find and discover and watch our great content how and when that they want to do that. And we see 3 key ways that we wanted to enable that. First of all, we want to let them find what they want. We reorganized the application to allow for better find and discovery journeys through iPlayer. But we also bet big on curation. We've created curated home screens across the entire application. Firstly, as you can see on the home screen, then across our category genres, which now have home screens of their own, be it comedy or documentaries or the arts. And finally, via our rich channel experiences. This is my personal favorite. This is the Radio 1 homepage in iPlayer. Big, vibrant brands. And this is an example of us launching an exclusive channel on BBC iPlayer for the TV audiences there. So quick snap poll. Of the 4 screens, mobile, TV, responsive web, and tablet, which do you think was the most popular for Radio 1? Let's see a show of hands. PC? Mobile? OK, we've got some mobile guys. Tablet? And finally, TVs. Well, the TVs have it. It actually peaked on TV, which we're all very surprised about. Next up, we want to help users discover new content in iPlayer. To do that, we've enabled new programming experiences. We are commissioning exclusive content for BBC iPlayer only by iPlayer. We are premiering content on BBC iPlayer and then rebroadcasting that on TVs. A recent example is the Peter Kay series that's been doing so well. We're bringing live channels that we broadcast on linear to iPlayer, but we also can expand to up to 25 pop-up live channels to support events like Glastonbury, the Commonwealth Games, or the Olympics. And finally, we're harvesting the best of our archive to relive some of those great moments in TV history. And finally, we want to give people the flexibility to watch when and how they want. We enabled AirPlay quite some time ago, but last year we added Chromecast to that mix. And with the rise of tablets and mobiles, we see it increasingly important that we can bring these 2 experiences together, where people can watch iPlayer content on the biggest and best screen in the home with their tablets. But what about behind the scenes? This is TV Connect. You guys want to know more about how we've built it? Previously, when we've built versions of iPlayer, we've had to build new versions for new platforms. So if we were delivering to TiVo or to UView or the game consoles like Xbox One or PlayStations or smart TVs, and I'm sorry I haven't included all of them here. There's 1,400 devices we're on. There's quite a lot of logos. Previously, we'd have to build a new version of an app for each of these platforms. Now, we have a saying in the BBC that apps just aren't for Christmas. And that means we have to be able to support them long-term whilst the audience is using those applications. So you can see the effort and the time that's required just to maintain that many devices, let alone increase the feature set and bring new experiences. I'm pleased to announce that from next week, we will have gone from 8 different code bases to 1 standard product across our entire TV range, which is relaxing. It means we can actually do a whole lot of cool things now instead of having to keep up with ourselves. To achieve this, we've we've worked with you, the industry, but we've extended our TV abstraction layer. Now, we've talked about this in the past at these conferences, but this allows us to build an abstraction layer across a whole range of devices and provides us with both flexibility and agility. In terms of agility, being a HTML5-based application, we can release small, thin slices as and when we feel we need to. Right now, the team has a goal of 1 per week. And with device configurations, I think we've done over 30 this year so far. So actually, we're smashing that goal, and that's very exciting for us. But flexibility is something that we're very keen on. We have a wide range of devices that we need to support, and to do that, we need to be able to flex the capabilities. So for an older device that may be slightly slower, we can turn everything down. Be that the fidelity of the animation, be that the resolution that we display the application in. We can change the different video encoding platforms that we use, or we can fiddle with the innovation that specific devices may or may not require. So older devices, we can scale our application back to support in a certain way. New devices, we can really flex it out, and we can push all of the buttons, and we can deliver a great experience. And I think a great example of that was when we were adding voice to our Xbox One standard product last year. And then there's everything in between. And you can see that we can kind of turn the dials up and down depending on how and when a device works. So we can make sure that an audience member who buys a certain TV or set-top box gets the best experience that they can for that device. So how's it doing? I'm pleased to say that it's doing very well, and that we've returned to all of our audience appreciation levels back to where we were before we started this journey. We heavily monitor user data, where people are getting lost in applications, and we've seen that the application is performing quite strongly and providing a very balanced way to access content. But 2014 obviously was also another record year for iPlayer. I'm being very selective here in my stats, but we saw that TV iPlayer was the top used device across the Christmas period last year, and we saw over 50% growth across the TV devices just in the last 12 months. This goes towards the adage that people want to watch great content on the best screen and the biggest screen in the home, and we see that as the television. We're also seeing changes in user behavior. 50% of the audience are trying new content in iPlayer, and we see iPlayer as a great place for people to get to know new things. 39% are coming into iPlayer not knowing what to watch and are looking for new things to find. So that's a very encouraging tick to the changes that we've made to the application that show that iPlayer is now more than just a catch-up service, but is the discovery destination. And a lot of that has been driven by our great exclusive content. Last year, we started to see individual episodes get millions of views. This year, that happens frequently. We announced yesterday that the PDK series that was premiered on iPlayer received over 3 million views in the first 5 days of viewing. And we're very excited to continue that trend with new exclusive content that we're commissioning this year. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. iPlayer is still very linked to linear TV viewing, and long may that last. We don't see linear as the past. We see it as a vibrant part of our service, and we're very engaged and work very closely with our colleagues in linear TV. So what's up next? I just want to give you a quick tour of a few different pieces of items that we're pushing into in 2015. First of which I'm most excited about, which is restarting live TV. We will be enabling the ability to restart live TV in BBC iPlayer in the summer of 2015. This means if you've missed the first 5 minutes of Doctor Who on BBC One, you can press a button and go back to the start without having to wait for it to go into catch up on all of those interesting things. We see this is very popular with our PC audience, and we see it as a game changer for the TV linear viewing experience. But it has to be simple, and that's where we bring our Red Button experience in. Red Button Plus, for all who aren't aware, is our Red Button service that allows us to mingle HTML-connected experiences with our linear output. Very similar to HBBTV in the European market, it is that bridge between linear TV and connected services. So for live restart, it couldn't be more easy. If you've missed that first 10 minutes, simply press red. We're very excited that that will be launching this year, and that is the start of that kind of connected TV experience, bringing linear and on-demand together. Next to that, we're really going to double down on our investment in exclusive content. So now I'm gonna shut up for a bit. I'm gonna let you guys watch some cool stuff, and then I'll explain how we're gonna push that out in 2015.
Hi, I'm Tiny Temper, and I'm extremely passionate about fashion. The Alexander McQueen exhibition at the V&A is probably the hottest ticket in town right now. Click here to watch my private view of Alexander McQueen's Savage Beauty exclusively on BBC iPlayer right now. Come on, click, click, right now. Click, click, click.
Just thought I'd make up a wee video for all the lasses.
No more advice from me, because I try and you're useless, mate.
Tainted love. Tainted love.
Love. It's hell on a stick. Seek solace in 9 new comedy shorts. Funny Valentines, available now, exclusively on BBC iPlayer.
I love that guy's voice. Shorter form content and kind of your more outrageous comedy is something that we think is really suited to our iPlayer audience. We've commissioned Matt Berry to produce a series of short form videos. Recently, the boat race, and I think there's another one coming around Father's Day. So look out for that within iPlayer. And finally, we want to make iPlayer more personal. We do some personality currently. We allow you to favorite items and to have your own watch list. But we want to be more implicit at how we better serve you as a user. So this is personalized recommendations. We also are wanting to bring across the screens together. So if you watch something on the bus on the way home on your phone, you should be able to pick it up on your TV where you left off. You should be able to save things to download from your TV, and it's available for your ride in the morning. These type of journeys are things that we want to bring together this year, and I'm very excited that we will be able to achieve that. Thank you for your time this morning. I'm quite happy to answer any questions right now. I think I've got 1 minute and 40 left. Anyone have any questions?
Questions? I'm sorry, I can't see you.
We have a question over here.
Very good. Can you just hang on 1 second? We'll get you a microphone. Do we have a microphone? Why don't you just yell out?
Just shout out.
How can I watch iPlayer on my telly?
How can you watch iPlayer on your telly? That's a very good question. And actually, we're about to do a ad series, a promotional series around that. So iPlayer is available on all operator platforms: Sky, Virgin, TiVo, YouView, both BT and TalkTalk. We're available on all smart TVs back to around 2011. So the big four, plus a lot of the other TV manufacturers, plus a lot of the set-top box enablers like your Now TVs, your Rokus. We have experiences there.
My Sky, I can sort of access iPlayer.
Yes. On your Sky catch-up area, if you go catch-up, we are the top left icon there.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
The investment in originals is great. It looks like you're going for more edgier content there. Explain how you view the platform iPlayer. Is it like training wheels for shows that you might transfer to live?
Sure.
to the broadcast channels, or is it? Do you view it as a unique destination, appealing to a different audience or an audience in a different mode?
It's certainly that second. iPlayer is commissioned by the same people as linear TV. It's made by indies and internal parties of the BBC, so it is as good quality. It is just, without a linear schedule, you can be more flexible with the time limits. You can do shorter content, you can do larger content, and you can also flex it to better achieve the audience that are using iPlayer at any one time. So we definitely see it not as training reels for content, but as a place that we can really nurture great UK talent.
So, so it's really participating in the OTT economy for content.
Yeah,
alongside all the other providers that are there.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably a smart move with the way millennials are behaving. I had another question for you. You mentioned 25 pop-up channels.
Yeah.
You could do 25 live pop-up channels. Just talk a little bit about what you mean by that.
Sure.
And how you would employ those 25 pop-ups.
So at the 2012 London Olympics, we had a channel for every sport. If you were an archery fan, you could watch live archery alongside the BBC One coverage of the 100 metres final, and that was all kind of going on at the same time. We have some kind of big moments in the summer where the F1, which has the linear output plus 4 additional screens, the pit cam, the driver tracker, the head tracker, plus we have Glastonbury, which has 7 live streams, plus we have a number of different events all coming together. So we can't flex out that many linear channels, but we can just spin up IP-delivered channels and allow users to jump between all these different new experiences whilst we cover them also within our linear channels. So if you're an F1 fan, we provide you 4 or 5 different views of the race in real time, which you can jump between.
I also had a follow-up question about the... So I love the architecture. It allows you to easily move between new platforms. Mm-hmm. And it sounds to me like that's fundamentally a tuning operation as opposed to a coding operation. So yep. You talked about dialing back some functionality. So is that what's going on when you're releasing to a new platform? It's like tuning it?
That is exactly what's going on. The release is a config that actually has those tuning values. So if a device supports Dash or HLS, we can change that. We can push out the interface to a 1080, 1920 by 1080, or back to a 540. We definitely just tune the dials as and when we see devices come through.
So I have a question about something that is actually pretty non-standard between platforms these days, and that's voice support.
Sure.
Voice search. How do you look at that? And for example, the new Roku has voice search. You mentioned Xbox, which you had to support specifically. But those two platforms, those two voice platforms, are radically different. How do you think about those, and which ones do you choose to support? And just talk about voice.
Sure. I mean, voice is a very innovative feature that is still definitely finding its way in the market. I personally really like the ability to sit back on my couch and go, Xbox, BBC One, Top Gear, or sorry, BBC Two, and Top Gear doesn't exist anymore. It's Peter Mercy having a good laugh at me. But I think that's a really powerful way of using content without having to pick up your remote and go through a device. I think search is a killer application for voice. To be able to go, on your Amazon Fire or on your Roku stick, find me Great British Bake Off, for instance, and it will find you those episodes, and then you can play those. I think is really powerful, and it's something that we would like to foster more, I think, in application usage.
So that's probably not something that you're going to see standard in iPlayer today, but maybe something that you add going forward.
As I said, we can push out innovation elements on different platforms as and when we see them becoming useful.
Yeah. One more question. Do we have one more question from the audience? We don't. Well, Marcus, if you could stick around, that would be great, and people could collar you afterwards. But otherwise, thank you so much for your presentation.